Hi guys, this is Lily with InkPossible Things, and my project for today is going to be to make some either best friend cards or birthday cards or just cards for someone in your life that you want to send them to. I made a couple of them as I was playing around with the kit trying to figure out what to do with the paper and stuff, but I use the 4x8 cards that come with it, and they're folded down. And then I have a border punch. I have this one here, but I think you can use whatever you have on hand, and you definitely don't have to have the border punched. I just kind of thought I'd give it a try because just to see what it looked like, and I really like it. But I used a couple of different things from different kits. So the 4x8 cards are in your main kit. On this one, I used some ephemera bits from one of the, I think it was this one, the Strawberry Lemonade ephemera bits. I'm sorry, I always say that word wrong. But anyways, I used some stuff from in here. There's a blank, one of these little tags in there, and I just wrote best friend on there. But I also used little bits of paper from an old book that I have. I used this in our last kit as well, but I went to one of our antique stores around here and I found this book, and I think I got like 2 books for like $5, but the pages are old and they're easy to tear up, and they look kind of cool when you ink them along the edges, and you can use them for all kinds of little cards and just anywhere really. But anyways, so I used a little bit of that, and then the inside is blank. This one does have a brad on it here because the little ephemera looks like this. Man, I am like disorganized today, but oh, here it is. Okay, a little ephemera looks like this, and I wrote best friend on there, but it does have a little hole on there. And all I really did was I glued it on there, and I had just happened to have some brad, so I punched a little hole right through the hole there. I punched a little hole, and then I just added the brad. And over on this side, I used the washi that looks like stamps to kind of cover it up there. And I think it adds something really cool on there, a little cool decoration. But again, a simple card. This one is slightly different. It does use all the bits and pieces that are in your kit. The stuff that comes in your kit includes some words in there, and then other bits and pieces that I used. This little part is from the avocado stained paper that's in your kit, and then this little flower comes from the big sheet that similar to this. It's actually one of these down towards the bottom that I just cut out and then glued on there. And then again, more a little piece of paper from that book. If you don't have an old book you can tear up, you can use a magazine, you can use a newspaper, you can even use, like, we have a stack of encyclopedias that we never use anymore, so I've kept those, and hopefully I can go through a whole bunch of them, just doing stuff like this too. But just find an old book anywhere. This little butterfly came from the Botanicals rub-on transfer set, and it's got a bunch of really cool stuff on there. Look at this. I cut it out of the green sheet because I figured it would really stand out. The green would really stand out there, and it was so easy to apply. I've never worked with rub-on transfers before, but I really enjoyed doing this. So this is an add-on, and you can find it in Lisa's booth for that one. It's the other thing that I made was the envelope to put the card in, and the card fits perfectly in here. It's made from one of the sheets of the avocado stained paper, and then again the washi tape. I just added one of these little stamps. These are so cute if you haven't seen them. It's just like a roll of fake stamps, and you can cut out the, it has so many colors in there. Each one, every time you unroll it, it unrolls to a different color. So you can just cut out the color you need and just apply it there. And of course, it's not a real stamp, so you can't really mail this, but it adds some decoration on there. So anyways, to make the envelope, one of the things that I did was I created a template for you to download, and there should be a link below this video. It prints out like this. Let me move out here. It prints out like this, real easy. And it is like an 8.5, so it's going to be this full size, from this side to this side. And then you just cut it. It's like an 8.25 by 8.25, it should be. So it's just a little bit bigger, but print it out at 100%. Don't enlarge it or anything. I'm going to show you how to cut this out so that you end up with something like this. And then we're going to trace this on to our tea stain paper, glue it down, and then that's going to become the envelope. Okay, and you can hold on to this and use it to make more cards with envelopes in the future. All right, so let me get started. Let me show you what we're going to need for this project today, and let's get started. Okay, so what you're going to need for this project is a printout, preferably on cardstock. It'll be your template, but it's a printout of the 4x6 card envelope template. Print it out on cardstock, and then I'll show you how to cut it. You're going to need both of your tea stain papers. And then from the 4x6 pack, I'm going to go ahead and use this one here. It has this back on it. It's really cute. But really, you can use, if you prefer the blue one, you can use the blue one. But really, you can use any one of these. A bone folder, a ruler, scissors, glue. And then this is optional. You don't have to trim the edges of the card like I did here. Right here, you don't have to do that. So this is optional. You will need, we're going to use the picked raspberry. And this one is in Lisa's booth, if you haven't bought it. It's I love these distress oxides. They're so cool. The colors are so vibrant. We're going to be using little bits and pieces that came with the kit. And then we're going to use those little flowers, the bigger ones. They're down here in this area. But we're going to cut those out and use them in our decoration. And then, honestly, you don't have to use these. You can use the rub-ons, or if you have any of the ephemera bits packaging, we can just pick and choose from there. You can also use the Wishing Bubbles and Bobbles Spectrum sheet. This one is really cute too. So anything that you have, and I even have this one here. So this is a chipboard set. If you have this one too, we can, it's just going to be kind of a trial and error thing to see what works. So don't feel like, oh, I don't have that set, or, whatever. We'll just try, I'll try to stick to the stuff that's in the kit. But you can use any of these other ones too. Okay, let's get started. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to cut our template down to size. And I do have a guillotine cutter behind me, so I'm going to turn around and cut along this line and along this line. Okay, I've cut off the edges, and this is what I'm left with. Now, what I want to do is, you see where these corners meet here? I'm going to cut those to help make the template. Throw these away. Okay, now I end up with this, and this is what we are going to use on one of these sheets of paper. So I need to figure out which side I want on the outside and which I want on the inside. But you know what? First of all, I forgot to tell you, we are going to score these dotted lines here. And I take a bone folder and a ruler, and all I do is I line up the ruler along the dotted line and press down using the bone folder. Now, if you don't have a bone folder, Lisa and I stocked up on those. There should be some in my booth or in Lisa's booth at Timeless Treasure. There we go. Now we're going to fold these because it's going to make it easier for when we trace our template on our sheet of paper. All right, so there's our template. I want that on the outside, so I'm going to trace on the inside. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to line these corners up and these edges up. Hold it firmly. Oops, here we go. And take a pencil and just trace my template here. Once I'm done with the tracing, I want to make sure it doesn't move. And I'm going to fold each flap. And for each fold, I'm going to draw a dotted line. And this is going to make it super easy for us to score and fold our envelope. Okay, there we have it. Now, because I got to cut this straight edge and this straight edge, I'm going to use my guillotine cutter. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've cut my envelope down, and now we're going to do the same thing we did with the template. And we're going to cut these little corners here. There it is. Now that we've got it here, I can set my template aside and use it for a future project. So I'll stick that over there. And this time we're going to take our ruler again and our bone folder, and we're going to score along the dotted lines. Once I get it all scored, I'm going to start, you know what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to round out the corners. So let me find my corner rounder. Here it is. And I'm going to round these corners out, and it'll give this envelope a more polished look when we glue it down. There we go. And now I can fold it. All right, now my next problem is going to be to decide what flap I want at the top. These are going to go fold in first, and then this one. And I think I want this one at the top. So I kind of like it, because otherwise, yeah, I want this one. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue, and I'm just going to add a thin bead here. Kind of guesstimate. Here, we're going to put some there. And there. And then fold it up and flatten it. Make sure it's good and stuck. And there's our envelope. We're just going to add a little stamp over here. I think I want, let's see which color comes up here. Well, that one will stand out. Ooh. Which one should I get? The red? No, not the red. I like the pink one, but I have a feeling it might blend in too much. So I think I'm going to use this one because it really stands out. And then I'm just going to take this one and stick it back on my roll here. And there we go. Isn't that cute? And here's our envelope. And now we are ready to make the card. You can go back in here if you don't want to see that. Take an eraser. There you go. And that's it. Okay, let's move on to the card. So for the card, I'm looking at this piece of paper. It's kind of got a nice plain inside, and it's kind of busy outside, which I like. But before we fold it in half, we need to decide if we're going to finish the edge here or punch out the edge or not. And I do want to put a trim on it, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But if you don't have to. One thing you can do is you can round out the edges. It doesn't have to be a square card. But if you don't want to do that, you can just fold it in half. But for now, I'm going to use my punch, and I'm going to punch out the edges here. Okay, we're done with the corner punch, and I've got this card left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to very carefully fold it over and see where it lines up. You can go past a little bit if you want to. I'm going to line it straight up along the edge there, so the longest part of my punch is along the edge of the card on the bottom. And then you press down. Spread your fingers apart, take your bone folder, push down. And now you've got the base for your card. The next step is to decorate this. And let's see, we're gonna take our second sheet of pink paper, and I want to add something here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tear this. Okay. And tear this. We're going to start with that. And it's, to be honest with you, making a card for me is trial and error. Because sometimes I start out thinking that this is what I want. And then it doesn't work out. Let's see. We're gonna try this. I'm gonna try this here. I'm gonna go ahead and ink it up with this pink pretty pink because I'm dying to try this pink. I just opened the package. Oh, look at that. It's so pretty. And this will help it to stand out, you know, on this sheet. Ooh, that already looks nice. Now the other thing that I want to try is a little bit of text. No, can't say. Well, we'll hold on to that for a second. Let's see what's in our little bag of bits and pieces. Now we do have that. I'm wondering if you don't want to, or you don't have an edge punch, if you can use this here, you can. It'll add a little bit of interest. But let's look at these. Life with You is amazing. I think we're going to use that. And let's see what else we've got. Oh, here's another stamp. That one kind of blends in too much. Let's see. I did cut some butterflies from the big sheet that came in your pack. I've got some cut out. Let's see where we go, where this takes us. Got some Nuvo drops that I've been wanting to try. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add kind of a puffy line here just to make this stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to take a piece of the tea stain or the avocado stain paper, and I'm going to cut it here. Use my guillotine cutter, kind of just measure. And that's going to give me a little space to write, because you can't really write much in here. I mean, you can, but we really want it to stand out. So I'm going to add this piece to so we can write. And it's okay that it's torn on the bottom. Ooh, I like this side better. That's really cute. Huh, not sure how I feel about that, but let's see what we can do here. We're going to take this, and we're going to add it on to here. Actually, kind of half on, half off. And all you do is you burnish it on there. And then you can pull up, and if you see any words that start to come up with the paper, you can burnish again. Oh, look at that. We are done. Now you got to let this, the Nuvo drops dry for quite a while, I've learned. Otherwise they smear and then it looks really bad. But look at this. I know I went through a few trial and errors there trying to decorate the card, but you got to kind of just let the card speak to you, you know, and you know, sometimes simple is better. Sometimes, you know, more things are needed. But this one, because it's so busy on the front, it just needs a little bit more embellishment there. But look at the inside. I really, really love this sticker here. And now we have a writing space, and now it looks really pretty, and it's going to fit into our envelope when it's all dry and ready to go in there. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this project. And if you make this, please add a picture in our Facebook page and let us know how it turned out.